Hello, guys. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me well? Please confirm that everything is fine. Anna will be late. No, actually, I am that kind of person that is typically on time. I feel always very nervous when I am late. So I am on time. Greetings, everyone. Happy to see you, Pat, Francois, Cindy, Anna. Thank you. David, Stephen, happy to see you all and happy to read Where Are You Now? And you send your positive energy to Ukraine, and I send it back from Ukraine. Greetings to California. And you know how Trump said, like, you have no cards, and we have house of our troll hunters today. I'm so happy that all the team, all the friends are together with Martin, with Spencer, with Philip, with Rudy, with Michael. Really happy that all are here, and there are a lot of things we can talk about. Thank you so much, Thomas, for the sponsorship. Carlos, greetings to Portugal. By the way, a lot of my friends say that Portugal is the tastiest country, that you have first to lose a couple of kilograms before you actually travel, because you will get a lot when you are in Portugal. Greetings to Canada. Greetings to Germany and to New York Oblast and to so many good places and to Budapest, a beautiful city. Jais, thank you so much. And to Missouri and to Brazil. Would love to see a beautiful country. And there are a lot of Ukrainians in Brazil, same as in Argentina. Thank you. Greetings to Nevada and to Montreal. And okay, today, and to Sarajevo. Greetings. You know what war is. Greetings to the Netherlands and to Heidelberg. And thank you so much, Russell. And greetings to Indiana. And again, Brazil and Michigan and France, and welcome, Yoda. I'm happy that you are with us and you know everything will be fine. I am just like, I know it. Greetings to Ireland and Estonia and the USA. Well, I am so happy, but I have to confess, I love all of the locations, but when I receive greetings from Fiji or Trinidad and Tobago, it's so interesting how actually international our community is and how many beautiful places on this planet are. And that is, greetings to Denmark. On this positive note, I have to tell you that after the collapse of Russia, there will be so many good countries. What many people don't understand, and I will try to be like positive today. Not that, not that just like greetings to Belgrade and to England and to California, and the problem of many people abroad, specifically right now in the United States, is that they know very little about Russia. And there are so many people, thank you so much, Hans. There are so many people who openly believe that Russia is just like, well, Moscow, Petersburg, and all of these big territories is just the same. No, these are so many different nations. These are so many different countries. These are so many different cultures. And, many of these big mistakes during the negotiations or anything can be made because of this lack of knowledge and ignorance. Once again, I'm not going to focus on these details. We will speak about this escalation that actually exists right now between Russia and Ukraine, not a ceasefire. But I will be happy to answer your questions. But I know from this quite realistic analysis of negotiations in Saudi Arabia that took place between the American and the Ukrainian delegation, and they were really long. And there were jokes like that the first half Ukrainian delegation was thanking Trump for every vehicle, not just like for all, but in reality, and I believe it's true, they say that approximately like 4 or 5 hours, our well-prepared delegation was introducing the American delegation to geographical, historical, political facts about Ukraine. For example, they did not know our political system. They did not know that in Ukraine, we have like our president has very different functions than in the United States, and actually he has less. And we are a parliamentary presidential country, so parliament has more rights than a president, and they were surprised to know it. And many of the decisions are made because they don't know things. And the same is about this like Russian-speaking regions that Witkov talked about today. Well, Ukraine was Russified, that is true. A lot of regions, the closer they were to Moscow, the more they suffered. Greetings to Bosnia. I would like to visit your country. Yeah, Putin, people have problems with Putin everywhere. It's just that some may not know that. But trust me, a lot of this immigration crisis, a lot of energy crisis, problems in Heathrow, anything, it is the reason of Putin. Putin is somehow behind that. Because it's much easier to commit crimes when the world is in chaos. That's exactly what they want. They want troubles around the world. So the thing is, greetings, Sherry. The thing is, they are trying to create this chaos, and Ukrainians are simply trying to show this really. To show the truth, at least. So a lot of regions were Russified, but this does not mean people don't speak like other languages, or anything else, and that they don't, that they identify as Russians. It was a trauma, it was a problem. But saying that Russian-speaking regions, so they will be taken, it's just like people in the United States. You speak English. Does that make you English? People in Australia, you speak English. Does that make you English? No. I am sorry, but in Florida, in California, there are a lot of Russian-speaking people. Does this make the states Russian? In Germany, there are a lot of Russian-speaking people. So what he is saying, that is totally wrong. Plus, these referendums that he mentioned, these referendums, they were not referendums. These were people with guns walking around the streets, making people say what Putin wants. And exactly a similar thing is happening when exactly the same thing is happening when they speak about this, like people that need to register as Russians. Do you know that on these temporarily occupied territories, they make people take Russian passports? They don't give people a choice. They make people take this Russian passports. Otherwise, they can get into filtration camp. They can get tortured. or they can lose their children. One of the reasons why some of the Ukrainian workers are now on Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which belongs to Ukraine, it's absurd to say that we can give it to the United States. It's just like, give us your central department store in New York, give it to Ukraine. So these workers, they work because some of their children were stolen and taken to Russia, and they terrorize them, they blackmail them that they can give them contacts of their children or return the children from some schools if they continue doing what they want. So this is a very, very wrong approach to speak about this Russian speaking as Russian, and second, to speak about referendums as the expression of will, just as elections in Russia, you know. I dream, I pray, I hope for that moment when great peacemakers from the White House tell, we need negotiations in Russia. That will be a very good moment. 20% of Ukrainian territory is occupied. So that is a big amount of people, and they also make these people join the Russian army. And you may say, why are these people doing it? Because when Russia comes, you don't have choice. They don't have like medical commissions or something. There are literally no people left in some of these occupied territories. Greetings to Malibu. I see that many of you like my hoodie. I hope you have identified that it's not just camouflage, that these are cats. And yeah, just like a childless cat lady, you know, they were popular during the election. So yeah, these are cats because you know, I often speak about that. I think if Zoe is watching us, she says, Mio, you know, camouflage. Yeah, I like it, Michael. I like it, camouflage. A new word. Yeah. I don't know if you know that, but it's quite popular in Ukraine when especially like women want to express their support to men who are in the Ukrainian armed forces. I mean, just like general address, like I say, hey guys. So sometimes no, I didn't count them, Francois, but I will. It will take some time. I will tell you in the morning how many of them. That quite often we address the Ukrainian armed forces kotiki. Kotiki is cats. So we do have this association between cats and Ukrainian armed forces. So yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was super excited to be on Maida's Touch. I did not know they could include me, just like I, of course, know this huge and very beautiful channel, and I was so surprised when you've told me. That was a very good surprise. Greetings to Scotland, and my beautiful team of moderators remind you, thank you so much, Fingbo, remind you a lot about the various channels where you can follow me, like Blue Sky, Instagram, and Discord, of course. And also I want to remind you that now I no, I don't have cats like at home. I have them only on my hoodie, but you know, remember to subscribe to my new channel. That is an adventure. That is something I was not fully sure about, but I felt like, you know, it was not because some people create other channels just to have many channels or to have a network of channels. But I felt that there are some things that I want to tell you, and they are different from what I'm talking about on the main channel. And YouTube is not that simple as it may seem. And if you have a lot of videos that are very different, thank you so much, Joe, that are very different from the score, what your audience watches, it is actually bad. So the advice is, you may You may actually. Thank you so much, Serkan, and I hope you will subscribe to a new channel too. So what is interesting that like YouTube, for example, this videos with Discover Ukraine, it does not promote them, it does not offer them to you because they are a little bit different from what is the topic of the channel in general. And that is why I have started a new channel. You know that you have given me some questions, and I've decided once a week share my videos about my civilian experience, because let's be honest, some people are worried. There are lots of very ignorant men talking bad things, and the world is getting more turbulent. It's not getting calmer, it's not getting more predictable, it is getting more problematic. And I felt that some of my information may be useful. Once again, I hope you will never need it, and it will be just a TV show for you, like these videos that we like watching about police or something like that, when you are it's not about you. But it is always better to be prepared. And I advise you to subscribe and to see the updates. My first video was just like very personal, very about this first start of war, how we didn't believe, how you cannot be prepared, how people's feelings changed. Do check it. And the second one is a reaction to your comments and your desire to know more about our bug out bag or go bag. And so, Marcus, you're not late. Welcome. And that is, thank you so much, William, and thank you, Morten. And time to take a sip of my cola. So please subscribe to that channel if you are interested in this more vlog, longer personal experiences of a civilian who lives in times of war. Thank you so much, Marcus. And I have never liked camouflage. I have never liked war films. If like 10 years ago, someone would tell me that, Anna, you will have a vlog about war, it will be called like war in Ukraine, I would not believe you. Thank you so much to Bal, and thank you so much, Dan. Thank you for making our community stronger. I'm very grateful for that. And I am I feel the need to tell you more, and there are a lot of ideas for that channel too. If it grows bigger, we can have, I don't know, maybe monthly streams there for this just like personal civilian life in times of big war questions. But there is one video in particular that I want to share with you there, and maybe it will be the next one. And it's about the sounds of war. Once again, I know it's not very just like YouTube style, but that it's quite unpredictable how quickly you learn these unbelievable things. I live in once again a semi-safe zone where I don't hear a lot of explosions every day. And that's not a vanilla and not a cherry. And I don't know, it's like I should not make it a product placement, but it's just like cola and coffee and caramel, and I like it. But it's not for everyone, just like a person who likes orange coffee. So it is not very likely you will share my tastes. But anyway, even like in my region where I don't hear explosions that often, I know with my ears, and when I'm in Kyiv specifically, I know a lot of this sounds, just like what are good sounds and what are bad sounds. You clearly know, oh, that's air defense. And for the book that I am finalizing, I took an interview with a girl who spent some time under occupation in Melitopol. A beautiful Ukrainian city was once a beautiful resort, famous for sweet cherries that are like top. And she said that, when we heard um, explosions and the city was occupied, so they knew these were Ukrainian armed forces trying to liberate it. She said, we were so happy. We were so happy to hear Ukraine shooting. We were so happy to hear Ukraine, I don't know, helicopters, because we knew they are trying to liberate us. And it is so sad that these people and Melitopol is still occupied. And all of their hopes, all of their prayers, they were so happy when Kyiv managed to protect itself. Then they said one very beautiful moment was when Kherson was liberated. That is amazing. That is what, once again, you will not hear them speak in the United States right now, that after the start of this full-scale invasion, with all the Russian efforts, with all the violence and hatred, they managed to occupy one new regional center, and then they lost it because we returned it back, we fought it back. And this girl from Melitopol, she told me that after Kherson was liberated, thousands of Russians who came to live in that Melitopol, thousands of their police and special services fled because they are afraid, because they know these territories belong to Ukraine. Unlike Witkov, they know this must be a part of Ukraine, and they are afraid. So any Ukrainian victory, any any return of our territory, of our villages, this is super powerful. It may seem like something small, but for these people who are waiting to be liberated, it is extremely, extremely important. And please don't ever let others underestimate that. Thank you so much, Ed, Ken, Martin, and Tehsin. Thank you so much for buying me coffees and for your support. So that is just very and very important. There are a lot of Russian military who leave Crimea too, especially when we succeed in the destroying of military bases there, the destruction of Black Sea Fleet. You won't hear Trump or Witkov talking about that, but we've destroyed Russian Black Sea Fleet. And this Russian Black Sea Fleet destroyed made Russians feel very, very vulnerable. Yeah, I like it too. It's neither it's neither dark blue nor violet, but I like it. And a lot of people on that other channel with my go bag were saying oh, we thought you have a lot of nail polishes in that bag, or lipstick. And it's so true to remember that during war people want to live, and sometimes during war people want to live more than during ordinary time. And that is another video that perhaps I will record for that other channel, telling that so many people, thank you so much, Tubal, so many people believe that when war, you're not doing anything, you're not eating anything, you're not thinking about anything. It is true about the first weeks that I have described in that first video, when you literally walk in just one hoodie, you don't want anything, you just want to be warm, you want to manage to sleep, you don't know what to do, what awaits you tomorrow, and you feel very bad about that. But you cannot remain in that condition for a long period of time. I can, to some extent, compare that to an illness. When a person learns a diagnosis, feels bad, very devastated, but then you go on this road of healing and you have to work hard to remain as you as possible. And it can save you. And the same happens right now with all of my country, where people, what soldiers say, that Like if you can sleep, you sleep. If you can get good food, you get good food. If you want to laugh, you laugh. And that is why I can say that it made Ukrainians like more emotional, more sensitive. And fortunately, for the best, for most people, like the good qualities prevail, because war is a challenging time. And once again, this also adds to this support of Zelensky, which is natural. Once again, I've told you, I did not vote for him as a president. I voted for Poroshenko. I was afraid that Zelensky is pro-Russian. That's why I didn't vote for him. I was mistaken, and that's great. But like the support for him is strong after these years of war. That is also very important, because war can quarrel people. People are very dissatisfied. And I want to thank my amazing moderators who keep reminding you about the blue sky, about Instagram, about everything, including buy me a coffee. Thank you so much, guys. You know, you are a blessing. Would I vote for Zelensky now? Yes. If you want to ask me whom would I vote for, Zelensky. I know that it's official, like some of the Trump representatives were trying to meddle with future Ukrainian elections, visiting Ukrainian opposition. And you know what I like? You know what I like? That they have no idea, just like they have no idea about Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian geography, Ukrainian history, Ukrainian, like anything, Ukrainian economy. And that is like the same about opposition. I am really happy that those people they talk to and they can actually think they will back them up for the election. These are done people. These are people like no one in Ukraine will ever vote. Like, I have no worries. So those people whom they want to try and push to change, you know, to find someone who will sign whatever Putin dictates, they have chosen like super mega losers, and they can get like 1.37%, but never win the presidential elections. People in Ukraine don't read X. That is another good thing that Americans do not understand. Like, most of X is still English speaking, and most of us go there to speak about Ukraine, but I cannot get inside lots of inside Ukraine information on X. And this, from this perspective, you know, like TikTok is more dangerous because people love this like primitive stories, but X and Elon Musk, like in Ukraine, no one like literally follows him. He's not a part of our active agenda. We do watch some of these videos because they become viral, but I mean, in general, they cannot influence us through like X, for example, because people do not feed from it. And it's not because of this change now. It was always like that. I'm sure, like, you know, there are a lot of Chinese social media or some other, and if they are not popular in your part of the world, you are not there. And what is really good, that those whom they want to try, they will fail, just like Tymoshenko. I don't think that even like Poroshenko has chances. Thank you so much, Duncan. I think if a competition could take place now, it could be real between Zelensky and potentially Zaluzhny. I would not vote for Zaluzhny. He has all my respect as a military man, as a general, but he is a military man and a general. I would not see him as a political figure. No. So I personally see that I think that Zaluzhny is not that interested. Also, in his political career, he's pretty satisfied right now to be an ambassador. There are other political positions, so we will see. But right now, it's impossible to conduct elections, and it's very wrong to interfere. So I don't know what is the main reason Ukrainians would not vote for Zelensky. I cannot tell you because I would vote for Zelensky. But there are always people who are, come on, like when the president is a president of a country for a long period of time, there will be people who are dissatisfied with something. Like I cannot answer that. But what happens is that, like once again, people don't like a lot of his, like some of the internal moves, some of the other moves, but we all say we need him now because he will not give up on Ukraine. We understand that he has this very firm position. He is really strong, and he will not say, he will not agree on capitulation. And sometimes even you're like very strong woman, when I feel, thank you so much, Serkan, thank you for supporting the community, when I feel sad, when I feel a little bit worried because some betrayals may happen, and there are moments that I can like feel, I don't feel this direct fear. I've lost it somewhere. But I may feel like this disappointed. And then I may go to bed with a thought that, oh my God, at least we have Zelensky. He will not screw it. I mean, like, he will not sign Minsk agreement to Budapest agreement. He will not say, oh yes, of course, people voted for Russia. No, 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 no. He saw a lot. He does have feelings. He is not fake. He may not be perfect, but he is not fake, and he saw a lot. And he saw this soldiers, he saw prisoners of war, he saw all of this destruction, and he feels that. Esa, I want to tell you that we are very grateful for your president hospitality, and all of you saw photos from President Zelensky. I like the comparison of President Zelensky speaking in Finland and you made him feel good, and President Zelensky in the Oval Office, it was a little bit difficult. Yeah, I want to quote Marty that yes, Zelensky will not betray Ukraine, and we know that. We know that, and Putin knows that, and that is why Putin does everything he can to influence the American negotiators to make them change Zelensky. They don't care for the will of people. It's not about democracy. I will not be surprised if Trump cancels elections in America and proclaims himself a long-time president. So they don't actually care about the voting of Ukrainian people, the will of Ukrainian people, because then they should worry for Russians too, for Belarusians too. It looks like one-sided. So it's quite obvious. I think they know the problem that Zelensky has really high support inside Ukraine. And they are designing how to change him because they know he will not betray Ukraine. Unfortunately, to sign peace with Russia now, you have to betray Ukraine, or you have to arm Ukraine and let Ukraine demilitarize and defeat Russia. That is the only working plan. I think comes that Trump is trying to do that, but we should not overestimate what they can do. Because I also don't like it when some people hear Trump said this, Putin said this, and people believe it will be like that. They are not gods. They are very far away from that. And Putin also believed he can take Kyiv in 3 days. Who knows? Maybe that will simply destroy them, but not us. It's super important to remain united and to remain prepared, and to stay strong. Yeah, I know that Zelensky met with kings and royals, and that is an honor because he represents the people of Ukraine, and we feel like that. When he is humiliated, we feel humiliated. When he is supported, we feel supported. And that is very important. And we have 1,000 viewers. This is a very special moment in history, and I'm really happy to see that thank you so much, Finbo, that some of the leaders are shaping. I'm very grateful to President Macron. Now I know, not just for his active role in this coalition of the willing and the military support of Ukraine, but also let's make 1,000 likes, please. We can do it. And not only for that, but also that he calls President Zelensky every day. Thank you, Francois, for such a good president. And he is a good friend. I think that he's also, I don't know what's the English for that. The Ukrainian is лицемірний. Oh my God, this is like when you say one thing and do the other thing. And like hypocrisy, something like that. And I think it's super important that Zelensky hears him, not just like, where is your suit? And also Keir Starmer, who does a lot. And I think that, his words about the willingness to send boots on the ground and protect the skies, I don't know if it will be reality. That would be great. But even his stance, even his words, they meant a lot. And we're very grateful for that. And it looks very positive right now in Germany, that Merz is going to be more decisive. I hope the coalition will not prevent him from that, because we need that a lot. But a very important reminder, here in Ukraine, people on a daily basis protect the borders of Europe from this Russian evil. We invest the best people. Like, nobody wants to be boots on the ground, let's be realistic. And we are like boots on the ground. We know we have no choice, but I mean, people, we have this war tax. I don't know, people don't speak about that, but we actually pay a lot of money. And I know it should be like that, but it's not like we only get money. We spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on donations. It's just like a common practice. It's more than what you pay for your house that you do during a month, like everyone. And at the same time, we do not feel that we are just like recipients. We believe that we are also a good investment into the security of Europe and the world. We don't think that it's just like feeding Ukraine, helping Ukraine. It's also about having a very strong nation on the border with very evil nation that constantly attacks directly or indirectly. And if Trump decides to withdraw from NATO, Ukraine will be even more needed. Yeah, golf is important. I think you should play more golf. Thank you so much, Willem and Steve and Ronald and Cynthia. Thank you. And thank you, someone, for buying me coffees, and thank you for becoming members. And this is so interesting. So maybe, yeah, thank you so much for respecting Zelensky. And well, I'm sure you will have your president. Yeah, I am in the cat ammo. For those of you who did not notice, this is a cat ammo. I am protected by like hundreds of cats. By the way, I am sure that not many of you can pronounce cat in Ukrainian. We have like, you know that in Ukrainian we have male and female genders for like animals you can pronounce. So I am sure you can say, thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you. That I see some of you, right? That he cat will be kit. And that's pretty easy because it's almost like survival kit, like, and it's spelled the same way, kit. So it's kotenya, that is like little cat, and kita is she cat, kita, and it's just like the same type of sound like palyanytsa, kita, palyanytsa. So it's quite difficult to pronounce something of that. So Yeah, so a lot of cats, and those of you who watched my first video on the new channel know that I have special feelings to who this Machka, yeah, Kitsa, Kit, yeah. AH has spelled Kit correctly, like he cat. Greetings to Wisconsin. I look much better in uniform than Putin. Okay, let me be naughty. I look much better without uniform than Putin without uniform. Do you remember him driving a bear? Oh, driving that just like that. Yes, thank you so much, Dan. Yeah. Kitty's sitting under the computer. Zoe, zoo in my town. Yeah, there is a zoo in my town, but I'm not sure how I feel about zoos. I want them to live in freedom, but like we have a good zoo that is considered to be very like animal friendly. And like stop talking about Putin wearing women's underwear. I don't want to visualize that, So let's talk a little bit more about the topic of our meeting today, and that is this escalation that is happening right now. And all because this ceasefire is not very possible just because someone said it. The war between Ukraine has very serious reasons, and they are not NATO provoked. I believe that those who believe it's NATO are traitors to NATO, to the United States. This is total nonsense because Ukraine suffered from Russia for 300 years. Ukraine suffered greatly during the times of the USSR, and a lot of people died, like millions, and Holodomor, and it all happened long before NATO was founded. Also, the only reason why countries like Ukraine, Georgia want to join NATO is to protect themselves from constant Russian invasions. Russia knows that NATO will not attack. Russia knows that NATO most likely will not defend even their own countries. I'm worried that, like with Trump's approach, they will easily sacrifice the Baltics or something like that, saying, once these countries were Soviet, so Alaska was once Russian, Louisiana was French, and we should not reshape the world. Actually, there is an interview of Vladimir Putin at the beginning of his career where he is asked about Crimea. Would he like to return it back to Russia or to force its autonomy? And he says no, because if we start reshaping that maps and the borders, we will have a world war. And look at him like 20 years after. I don't know why so few people talk about Putin's madness. He does not act adequately. I am sorry, Elon Musk does not act adequately. And Vladimir Putin and Medvedev, they don't act normally, and I don't feel safe. Just imagine that like Putin or Trump or Musk is your pilot. Imagine like you have to ride a plane. Whom would you choose as your pilot, Musk or Zelensky? So it tells a lot about people and their behavior, and I believe we should actually talk more about this insanity of Putin that is quite visible. And maybe if people realize that he is not okay, they would stop treating him as a partner of negotiations or as a good man, Witkov describes him. And this is definitely a moment to talk about. So let's just imagine, I don't believe it, but let's just imagine for a second that Trump is just concerned about people, lost lives, and he wants to save young people from dying on the front lines. But it's just like with a fire. You cannot come and say, stop it. There are some very serious reasons. The main one, Putin and Russia's imperial character. That is why, by the way, we laugh in Ukraine when Putin says that if you want peace, the reasons for this war must be eliminated. We all say, yes, yes, yes. We want reasons for this war to be eliminated. Do you know what is the reason for this war? Let me know in the comments. I think it's quite obvious. Putin and his imperial project to reconstruct the Soviet Union. Well, you are late, but you are on time. So, and if we need to destroy this reason for this war and it's Putin, I don't mind. I'm all in. But let's imagine once again for a second that all this hurry with all the speed of negotiations and ceasefire, which does not look healthy, which does not look normal, is to simply save people. But it's impossible like that. You cannot turn off the fire. You cannot turn off the waterfall. You have to be careful. You have to look. You have to understand. You have to know a lot. Thank you so much, Flavio. And I'm sure a lot of people in the negotiation team did not know where Ukraine is located, like, or something. They are super ignorant about Ukraine. And the worst is that they want to decide the fate of my big, independent, beautiful, brave state without even visiting it. So they keep repeating Russian BS or this information that Trump keeps saying. It's insane about the encirclement of Ukrainian soldiers. There is no encirclement of the Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk region. No, at all. From some of the positions our soldiers left, but there is no encirclement at all. Most importantly, it is not me, Ukrainian, saying, it is the data of satellite images. Now you can see anything. It is the data of intelligence services, including the one of the United States, the one that Trump, I'm sorry, Freudian sleep, that Trump must trust. But he keeps repeating Russian narrative. Why? Can you imagine how pathetic it looks for just like anyone who understands what really is happening? So here is that Trump begging Putin not to kill Ukrainian soldiers who are encircled. Putin knows there are no such soldiers. He knows there are no soldiers in encirclement, but he promises Trump not to kill them. It's a win-win situation. They are talking about non-existing Ukrainian soldiers and saving them to get a non-existing Nobel Peace Prize. That is the top level of BS. What kind of encirclement of Ukrainian soldiers? No, not at all. It is just Trump is the only one talking about that. And he repeats what Putin tells him, and this is very sad. Moreover, that is another problem, that is another proof that, like, at the beginning, Trump wanted to say he is neutral. It's impossible to be neutral witnessing, this genocide of Ukrainians. I think it's very wrong to be neutral to Hitler. But even if he said he's neutral, he's not. He backs Russian narratives. He spreads them from the White House. And what is more interesting, before any peace plan, before any peace deal, we agreed to talk about the ceasefire. Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you so much, Pat, and thank you, Maglimos and Victoria. Thank you so much. And also, what is interesting, thank you so much, Marcos, for making the community of the channel stronger, and cheers to you. So feel the difference. Like, America has always been an ally of Ukraine and Europe, and we were friends, but to push us for this ceasefire, Trump stopped sharing intelligence, stopped the delivery of weapons, threatens like turning off Starlink and other stuff. And at the same time, Ukraine keeps demonstrating respect, and also we agree on this ceasefire, even though, thank you so much, Bengt, even though Russia is targeting Odessa, Kropivnitsky, and so on. And then Trump comes with this very same proposal to Russia, and Russia says no. Russia says openly no, and thus actually humiliating Trump. I think one of the reasons why after this phone call with Putin, Trump did not hold a press conference, which is very typical. Trump loves press conferences, a lot of attention on him and so on. And I thought, like, it's very vivid. He canceled it because there is nothing he can say. He will pretend that everything goes according to the plan, but Putin told him no ceasefire on the ground. This ceasefire on energy infrastructure, thank you so much, Voxpedia. This ceasefire on energy infrastructure, on the naval territory, and that was the idea of Zelensky, Starmer, and Macron. They said it's more or less realistic, but it's impossible to stop, like to control the front line that is like 2,000 kilometers long. It's literally, you don't have enough. I don't know how can you control this kind of front line, which is impossible. But Trump thought it was possible, and he kept pushing this idea. And his idea was the ceasefire on the ground. Ukraine said yes, and Russia said no. And no reaction. And when journalists keep asking Trump about that, he pretends everything is fine. Honestly, I don't like this kind of fake behavior. I think it's better to be openly hostile to someone. Like, if you don't like someone, if you don't respect someone, say it openly. But this just like pretend that I don't know if you have proverb. I cannot tell you Ukrainian one because it's impolite. But when you keep pretending that, like, you obviously see that everything goes not according to your plan, not the way you promised, but you pretend that everything is fine. Thank you so much, Renee. And remember to subscribe to my new channel. This is a weekly channel. I will not overload you with videos. And it's about life in times of big war from a civilian perspective. I will share more about like some tips and advice that unfortunately some of us may need. It's about go-to bags. It's about thank you so much, Adam. And people in Lutska feeling better in spring than in winter. Like, spring always brings more joy. It's always like that. You know, if we look realistically at the situation, thank you so much, Tristan. They keep speaking about this ceasefire, these negotiations, but the situation is quite the contrary. Russia keeps bombing Ukraine. Most importantly, after this telephone conversation between Trump and Putin, they sent like hundreds of drones on Kyiv, on Odessa. They kept I have friends in Odessa who reported their air defense working like for hours nonstop. They have never witnessed anything similar. Like, it was working all the time, not just like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And this happened directly after the call. And, you know, it's kind of, well, we have to walk and do, not just talk and talk. You're so right. Because Russia will not stop in Ukraine. The task of Russia is actually, it's not NATO fighting against Russia, it's Russia fighting against NATO. And Russia wants to demonstrate that Russia is Russia wants to destroy NATO and to demonstrate that NATO is weak, NATO cannot protect the territories. Thank you so much, Peter, for your continued support and your wisdom. Yeah, you are very right, Magnus, that if Russia wants peace, Russia can leave. This is something I did not think I will need to remind people. But if Ukraine stops fighting, Ukraine disappears. If Russia stops fighting, the war ends. It is that simple. It is that simple. Putin wants the USSR back, but he sees Europe is way weaker. I mean, some other parts of Europe is way weaker than it was in times of the USSR. So why not add that? It may seem like unbelievable, but part of Berlin was actually Russian. Thank you so much, Pinda. Thank you for your support. So there were times when Berlin was partially Russian. No, they think they can repeat it. And when they see this weakness, when they have people like Orban blocking some European decision, I don't know, how do you think, will they find a solution? How to stop Orban from blocking, like 26 countries support, one country opposes? It's not okay too. I think they should change something in this EU decision-making algorithm, because Orban is a danger not just for Europe, no, not just for Hungary, but for Europe. Yeah, we are paying attention to Canadian elections. We know you have a new prime minister. We don't know a lot about him yet because perhaps he did not have much time. But I think that Canada has to be very strong and very decisive right now. I dislike these things Trump administration says about Canada. I think that a lot of Americans dislike that too, because you are like the best friends. These are the best nations that can border each other. I'd shift with pleasure, like change Russia for Canada, and I'd be very happy. So I do see that a lot of people don't like it too, and it's wrong. Once again, you might have noticed that I'm not a kind of a person that likes pushing panic or hype, because I could start this new channel and tell you prepare for the Third World War. I will teach you how to survive. But I don't like it, because I think we need to hope for the best but prepare for the worst. And as a Ukrainian, I can tell you, it is not okay when the leader of one country disrespects the sovereignty of another country and openly repeats that. That is not okay. That Trump, his administration, his once smart people like Rubio and Waltz, who I don't think the same way, say that Canada can be the 51st state. That is not okay. Even if it's like a joke, okay, many say these are jokes. This is not funny. And not funny jokes, they are not funny. And also, Putin's diagnosis began with such things, with such words, with such comments. This is a very typical Russian attitude. And this is once again why I am not sure that Trump can hear us if he sees the world in terms of Putin. Because there are people who disrespect smaller countries, and they keep saying you're small, like we're the biggest in Europe. Yes, we're small, but Russia is big. But Russia is big, poor, and dark. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you. And thank you so much, Finbo. So I am so happy that we have this community where people receive updates from each other and people love each other and support each other. So yeah, this John, so right, normalization of deviance, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay when someone says I will burn your house. I'm joking. It's not a funny joke. And we should not make this normal. Thank you so much, Yoda. Thank you. And sending you a lot of very positive energy from Ukraine. We still have some positive energy here, and you should multiply it in the United States. Thank you so much for being pro-Ukraine. Elbows high, Canada. Yeah, I love learning all of these phrases. So I think that Canada has to be very strong and very decisive. And thank you so much, Volker. It's super important not to agree on something absurd. We will not do that in Ukraine. Trust me. We will not let them make us like sign another, because people, you cannot imagine, like, I am not, some of those who watch these new videos, they say, oh, we have forgotten what are the things. Thank you so much, Duck Frump. So nice. So many things you go through. You cannot imagine how many things we go through, how many things we've seen. For example, I went to visit my parents today. And like, I've lost my both, like, I don't have my with me. And on this like graveyard, they have a lot of sections for, thank you so much, Duncan, and thank you so much, Godzi, for the soldiers. And all this like graves with soldiers, they have really high flags. And many people who travel to Ukraine, who visit such places, they notice one very unusual thing about these parts of the graveyard, is that they are very loud. Why? Because of the sound of these flags in wind. There are many, like hundreds of flags, and there is always wind, and they produce this sound of, I don't know, like, how would you describe that sound? And I always like walk by, because this is the beginning of the graveyard, the best part of this, and it's a big graveyard. And these are like ordinary guys who were doctors, who were teachers, who were plumbers, who were drivers, who were pizzaiolas, and some of them are very young, some of them were really old, some of them were professional military, others went, like the majority went because it was their emotion. And they were not working in the biolaboratories. They were not a part of NATO plan. They didn't do anything. They protected their land. And it can, like, we all have friends, relatives, people we knew, our classmates, who lost their lives because of Russia. And it is, can you imagine, like, I'm still very positive, but like when someone tells, I don't think Putin is a bad guy, and this person is responsible for the negotiations, they do not understand the depth of the evil Russia brought to Ukraine. They think they can, like, bring they can bring something like people can get distracted, or maybe we can choose a pro-Russian president. No. And they like, but this is just one example, and there are millions in every person's mind. And Yoda, okay, you were wrong about Trump, but you have always been a part of the community. You did not leave the community. And before this war, I could never. Okay, I will tell you a different story, a more optimistic story. Like, I have a cousin in Kyiv. Like, my closest blood relative is my aunt. She is my father's sister, like 5 years he's younger. And thank you so much, Rudy. And she has a son, my cousin. Like, he is 3 months younger than me, but my grandparents were always protecting him, saying like, Vova is smaller than you. Maybe they saw that I'm a small, that I'm a strong woman. And I remember that he could, like, they are a very good family and he's close with his parents. But I remember they could quarrel very much about politics, plus something really minor, or philosophy or football. So like they did not quarrel about anything in their like life, I mean his profession or girlfriends or anything, but they were quarreling about this politics. Plus, once again, it's not like, thank you so much, Gary, that someone is Republican and the other one is Democrat. That could be just like, I like that Republican senator and like that. And I always watched that with fascination, especially after I lost my parents. Because I thought, oh my God, they are so happy to be able to quarrel about this BS. Still like have each other. And I think as long as there are some core things, like I hate it when people say NATO provoked this war, or we have to understand Russia's position. No. You have seen enough, and closing your eyes on that is one thing. And, believing someone, it's normal, it happens with people. So I think what unites our community, I sometimes speak about your political leaders. I don't mean Trump, I mean others too, because too much attention to this young man. But I may not know something about them, and I may say, well, I like this one. And you will tell me, no, he's bad. That's okay. I do not pretend to be super smart about that. Greetings to Nasty Canada, and I'm happy that you're Nasty Canada. And I have this maple syrup at home. And thank you so much that you're grateful for the channel. I'm grateful for our community. And so right now we see this escalation that Russia uses. Like, honestly, this pause in intelligence was very bad for Kursk operation. Yes, it was. And there are consequences. Not all these things, like a lot of things, they have some consequences. And I don't think that Kursk operation was a failure, because without this Kursk operation, you cannot imagine how deep Russians could walk somewhere in Ukraine. And I am a great supporter of the idea of this buffer zone. Putin's idea. I support Putin's idea of a buffer zone, but on the Russian side, not on the Ukrainian side. And by the way, after this live, there will be one more video on the channel about Belgorod, because there are some rumors that there are some Ukrainian soldiers in Belgorod. Maybe those that didn't like it with North Koreans in Kursk moved to Belgorod. And that might be interesting. I don't think a big operation can come, because once again, Zelensky respects his word. And after we agree on the ceasefire, which is impossible from the Russian side, and they will never follow that rule, but that I see like Trump stuff is going on. Like, I think that to destroy Trump, we just should stop talking about him. He cannot survive this. I cannot imagine someone liking attention that much. But sometimes I feel like all my negative comments towards Trump are good for Trump. And the best thing you can do for him is just like not notice him. For example, I don't know, come meet him and say, whoa, JD Vance, what a nice Maybelline. Just like I'm by the way, bad with that. I use pencils, but I'm not good with liners. Long live Canada. And I know there are so many good people in the United States, and we feel your support. I think yes, I believe the conflict may escalate into World War III. I think personally, many Ukrainians believe that World War III is happening already because like North Korea, China are helping Russia. Russia performs, thank you so much, Ida, performs a lot of operations in the Baltics, close to the Scandinavian countries. We don't know what was it in Heathrow. We know they we know they have they interfere into intelligences or elections. They do a lot of things. I think they are responsible for immigration crisis, a lot of things. And this is already a war against your countries. So to some extent, what we don't understand is that, for example, when the Second World War started, do you think it was just like, may I have your attention, ladies and gentlemen, the Second World War has just started? No, they typically acquire these names later. I also love this. I also love this meme when someone just asking the Soviets, so what happened between 1939 and 1941? What was between 39 and 41? And that was a time when Soviets fought together with Nazis and divided Poland. And this is actually, for those who want to know my history of my region, that we have right bank Ukraine, left bank Ukraine. You will read about that in my book, not east and western, but it was always left and right bank, Dnipro River. And I come from the right bank Ukraine. And it was part of Poland once, but it was also part of Austria. Like all these empires, they traveled. And no, it does not mean that Ukraine is an artificial country. It happened to your Austrias, to your Czechias, to your Polands, to your, in Europe, it was a good tradition of the 18th, 19th century. And in the United States also, the country was shaping. It was typical for that period. We don't have to analyze it from the perspective of the 21st century. But that is exactly after this Soviet occupation of Poland that my part of Ukraine joined the Soviet Union, but reunited with the other part of Ukraine. This is why, if you are interested, we did not have Holodomor. This part of Ukraine, my region, we did not have Holodomor because in 1933 we were Poland. And it's important to remember that. But literally, it was war of the Soviet Union against Poland, and they were dividing the world. They were dividing the world together, and everything. They liked everything about that. Thank you so much, Existen. Yes, I have joined the cat army, as you may see. Yes, I am the cat commander. Mm-hmm. I think my beautiful moderators will come up with the correct address to the cat commander. Cheers to that. Catwoman, yeah. Cat the tater. Cat tater. I thought cat tattoo and was prepared to tell you, no, I don't have any tattoos. What time is it there? It's 10:14 p.m. Katana. Katana, it sounds as if I'm from Italy or somewhere else. Cat commandant. Get rid of Putin. Yeah. Codename Whiskers. I hope I don't have any. I would. Okay. don't have. So it's super important to know the history, by the way, and education matters because that was just like a question to what Soviets did, were allied with Nazis, and now they use it as just like example. No, thank you so much, Tony. Okay, so yeah, this is, for example, there are a lot of buildings of Polish period, Polish constructivism in Lutsk. Greetings. I am from the western part of Ukraine. I'm from Volhynia region. Always a kid. So I see that like this is an inspiring hoodie. And by the way, in the merch shop, we have a special drop that I have to be open with you. We have intentionally designed with strong messages like stand with Ukraine, united we stand, because we need your support. I know that a lot of people demonstrate the support to Ukraine, especially in the United States. So if you want to demonstrate it, go check. There is a collection of t-shirts that were designed like that. But honestly, they have this very universal meaning, and they are not focused on Ukraine. But I believe that Ukraine now fights for many countries. Of course, right now it's just ours problem, but same as in in the 30s, it was not about Austria, it was not just about Czechia, it was about this world dominance. And right now, I think Putin wants to dominate Europe. He likes that Trump wants to isolate himself. It's the greatest present ever. Europe is way richer than Russia and is definitely a better trade partner. Or you can change rules, you can change anything, but it's much better to be friends with Europe. By the way, American friends, do you know it's like super weird for us in Europe to say like Europe and treat it as just like one country? I know like a lot of people you can ask and they tell you, well, you plan to go to, where do you go this summer? To Europe. And it's just like very difficult for me, because for us, okay, I see moderators, like I did not flee Ukraine. I am always in Ukraine. I have never left Ukraine. I mean, like, of course, I traveled during this time on some business trips, but they were never longer than a couple of days. And I live in my hometown where I always lived. And well, some people say that Trump can declare a martial law, according to my moderators and comments that they collect. Well, I don't know that. Guys, it's just like it's not my president, luckily. So yeah, Eurotrip, yeah, I agree with you. For example, when I think about something really far away that it's not that easy to get, for example, I dream to see South America. I have relatives in Argentina, and I realized that if I travel to South America, I need to travel a lot. Then I need to see Brazil, and I need to see Peru, and I need to spend some time, because I hate flying. I drink when I'm flying, alcohol, and then I will drink a lot because you have to fly like 14 hours or something. So I need to have time to deintoxicate myself or what. And like it's quite obvious, I would love to visit London, of course. Greetings to Canada. So I do understand. Yeah, Francois, Argentina wine. So I do hope that like we have to travel whenever. Have you ever been outside Europe? That's a good question. If you consider Turkey and outside Europe, because many of us like consider it's partially in Asia, so then yes. All the rest of the countries that I have visited, they were in Europe. But still, like I don't feel that it's one location. I do understand it when people travel from far away, from across the ocean, and want to see a lot. But still, it's quite unusual to like go to Europe. It's like, what Europe? Because like Ukraine is Europe, Germany is Europe, Finland is Europe, France is Europe, Spain is Europe, and they are all so different. Mm, mi familia es en Buenos Aires. So, by the way, I started taking Spanish lessons. And my teacher of Spanish, who is a great translator, literary translator, I was really lucky to get this opportunity. Yeah, UK is Europe. And Russia is Mordor. Just two perfect sentences. And she says, I'm not that bad. So maybe soon we will start another Spanish-speaking channel. How does Ukraine feel about Turkey? I like this question because I see we have, since recently, more subscribers from Turkey. And I think that we are historically very connected. And many people are surprised when Turkey supports Ukraine and they say, how come? Well, like, if you look back into our history, there are a lot of moments when we actually stood for each other. There are also a lot of moments where we fought against each other. But I think that our countries are definitely connected. And I like the stance of Turkey on like Russia, because like when a Russian bomber crossed the airspace of Turkey for just seconds, it was destroyed. And it was Putin asking for an excuse. And compare that to the reaction with, like Poland, for example, when they saw Russian missile and waited for it to return to Ukraine. Yeah, I agree that Turkey is not that democratic, but I'm talking about this attitude to Russia-Ukraine war and that they constantly support Ukrainian territorial sovereignty. I think they have an interest in Crimea, and I don't mind, because they will not annex it. They will build good hotels, better than Trump builds. And like I've been like, I know that Turkish resorts are really great, and if they do something similar in Crimea, I am all in. I will personally travel and spend some time with great pleasure. Okay, maybe two more questions and I will let you enjoy the evening. Plus, I still need your energy. Still need your energy to watch another video about Belgorod update, because that's an important and interesting update. No, I did not learn about the meteorite on Kiev. We have so many bad meteorites that I don't feel very optimistic about such kind of information. I am sorry. Remember to subscribe to the new channel. I am like super excited. Like, thank you for my optimism, but like, I think it all depends on your character. It's not the it's not the reality, it's the character. But people do not want to give up, and people believe that we can definitely win, and there is no other choice. Actually, there is no other choice, there is no other solution, because Russia will continue moving, and it will continue shaking Europe, it will continue shaking NATO, and it will spoil life to the United States or Australia too, unfortunately. I have never seen them. Recently there were something like Nordic lights in Ukraine. And like when you see something weird in the skies in Ukraine, you are not excited. What new channel people are asking? There is a new channel where I have one weekly video about life in times of the big war from the civilian perspective. And the sheriff has just shared a link. Thank you so much, Moises. And like when you see something unusual, You kind of don't like it. And I remember people reporting they see aurora, they see these Nordic lights, and some people started thinking maybe Russians blew up a nuclear plant somewhere, and that's what we see in the skies. But I think this is some climate changes or something that we were able to see it in some regions, but of course it's nowhere close to what people see in the north. And I would love to see it. I'm also glad that I have subscribers from Iceland, for example, and it's so interesting. Thank you so much, Scott. Like, I'm finishing the book. What can I tell you about it? It has 7 chapters, like 7 parts, and lots of chapters that speak about different parts of Ukraine that I want, not geographical, but like first geography and maps, then history, then life in times of big war, then language and war, then things that keep us optimistic, then more like a paragraph on like chapter apart. Like it's actually interesting that my generation goes through so many very weird things, and like starting from Chernobyl explosion and finishing with this, like the collapse of the Soviet Union, then the Orange Revolution, then the Maidan Revolution, then the annexation of Crimea, then wars, like so many things. There is a joke that many people repeat here in Ukraine, is that just like, do you know this, just like, do you remember from your school books this small paragraph about like in a history book, this small paragraph where everything is very complicated and there are too many events that have very important consequences for the future course? You cannot find any logics, you cannot understand anything, and you hate this paragraph. Congratulations, you are living through that paragraph right now. So thank you so much. Yeah, I have decided to walk this very correct way, looking and cooperating with literary agents, not just like by myself, because once again, I could print it, but I have told you already, I have an idea for another book close to this generation. And like this epic adventures that we had to go through, maybe not understanding it. I actually like this concept even more. But thank you so much for all the support that I feel, for all of your kind words. Even if we do not agree on something, we agree on the main things. Thank you for all the coffees. Thank you for joining as sponsors and patrons of the channel. That's an honor. I'm very grateful for this, of your support. Check the merch shop. Lots of really good items and some cool designs. And thank you so much, Finbo. Remember to subscribe to the new channel, and please remember to watch this new video. Also, be careful. There are scammers on the channel from time to time. And know that I never invite you to chat privately. I never ask for money, specific donations, only if we run fundraisers together with Ukraine AIDS operations or NEFO or something big. And then I always repeat it visibly on the videos. If you see me saying on the video, yes, but please be careful, because, everything is evolving, and unfortunately there are way many such people. Michael is wearing my Anna from Ukraine hoodie. That is, by the way, a perfect uniform for our lives. And of course, I want to thank Michael. I want to thank Spencer and Philip and Martin and Rudy and Francois and Pat and all the team and Neil for cheering. And we have 1,777. That is so beautiful. And Serkan, thank you for your continued support of the channel. And Yoda, I'm really happy that you're back and without Trump. And thank you so much, Volker and Voxpedia, and so many people. I am always happy to read your advice. Remember to give me advice on that new channel. What would you like to see? Because I have a million topics I want to discuss with you, but there are also things that you want to see. You should ask the sheriff. And thank you once again. And remember to check the video sometime really soon. Thank you so much. A lot of love from Ukraine, and Slava Ukraini.